Gonna be tough to make this funny. I'm gonna bring back that guy. You know not what you talk about. I know the facts.
Man, I really thought that guy was gonna stop fucking up so we wouldn't have to use that character anymore, but here we are.
Alright, well, let's just get down to it.
Zelenskyy shouldn't have started this war.
Yeah, how dare they, hold on, let me check my notes. Defend themselves. Fucking awful, isn't it?
We had an agreement that they would not join NATO. They were considering and applied for NATO, so I took it upon myself to deal with the problem.
Couple things. One, Ukraine applied for NATO membership in September of 2022, after you invaded. They considered it in 2014 when you annexed Crimea, but less than 4% of the population really approved of it, so they didn't do it at all. Secondly, how's that working out for you, considering two of your neighbors just joined NATO because they don't want to be invaded by you?
Well, we've spent about 200 billion more than Europe, and our money isn't guaranteed. Theirs is.
Well, number one, I can't find any source to confirm that their money is backed by anything. Europe doesn't need guarantees because we already gave Ukraine one. The Budapest Memorandum, December 1994. You remember, you, me, Russia, and Ukraine all signed it. They denuclearized, and nobody was ever allowed to invade Ukraine's sovereignty ever again or violate them in any way that would be counterproductive to their status as a nation. Fuck, man, you forget everything so quickly. You're teaching the world that American word means fucking nothing.
You know, I hate to side with beans on toast here, but, you know, any excuse I can have to bomb Russia, I'll fucking take it.
And also, to date, right now, the war has cost about $320 billion in Ukraine. They raised $120 billion of that themselves. The other $200 billion came from us and Europe combined. Not to mention, of the money we've sent, around $58 billion of it has stayed right here in the United States, paying us to keep our weapons up to date.
No, we've promised them way more than that.
Yeah, what's been promised and what's been delivered are two very, very different figures.
It's because they're embezzling it and laundering it.
Okay, first of all, laundering money is definitionally moving illegal funds through legal means to make it seem legitimate. Still trying to figure out how that's happening there. But moving forward, if they're stealing it and it never got there. So let's put it this way, Russia. If I said I'm going to give you $10 and I gave you $4 instead, and then someone showed up and said you stole the other $6, it's pretty fucked up, isn't it? Also, if I may interject here, yeah, DC. So the Kiel Institute for World Economy, which is a non-profit here in Germany, tracks every bit of money that is gone into Ukraine, yeah? And your numbers are way off. The US has given about 120 billion and Europe has given about 140 billion. I can give you the printout if you like.
Okay, fine. But he's still a dictator. He's banned movies and TV that doesn't align with him politically.
Yes and no. Definitionally, it's really kind of subjective. You know, by definition, a dictator is a ruler with total power of a country who's usually obtained it by force. Now, he does have a lot of control and power in Ukraine. And I know a lot of people are having issues with the election. You know, he didn't hold an election during war, and the U.S. did. And okay, just counterpoint. Let me just turn over to Russia here. You gonna stop fucking attacking and shooting for long enough for them to pull people off the front line and let them vote?
No, of course not.
Cool. Figured I'd ask.
You guys can't see that he's just pulled the wool over your eyes? He's stealing your equipment and selling it even to the cartels right on your border.
My God, how soon people forget. There's no source backing that up. Tucker Carlson is the only person stupid enough to make those claims and say that they're fact. And anyone who believes it blindly is also unintelligent. I've looked countless hours trying to find any confirmation, any information about it from any other reputable source. Nothing. Matter of fact, tons of fact checks have all like, no, this is not true at all. Matter of fact, you did the same thing in 2022 in the initial invasion because you didn't want the US and Europe to help fund Ukraine. God, man. KGB guys are getting fucking sluggish.
It's because the real sources of the information are not available in your country, because you are corrupt.
Ah, that's a real fancy way of saying your sources trust me, bro, or I made it the fuck up.
Whatever. I'm in charge. And Russia really has the cards here. And it was our fault. And I think that on top of this, we should also stop having our troops in Europe protecting NATO. They can do it themselves.
As a student of history, that one actually genuinely concerns me. Both times the US entered into isolationism and ended in a world war. I would love to be wrong. I would love to eat these words. I would love to not spend the money. I would love to not spend the manpower. I would love to not be the world police. But if history's taught us anything, it's that America's lack of involvement always ends in bloodshed. And a lot more blood than had we been involved in the first place. So I guess you got to ask yourself, what's worth more to you? Money? Or your sons and daughters? Again, I would love to be wrong. But the decisions we make today will affect the next generation.
Well, I'm just here to say the quiet parts out loud, so might as well take this opportunity. I made fun of the last administration, no one had a fucking issue with it, but this one, I got a feeling it's gonna ruffle some fucking feathers. Look, I've been around for a long goddamn time, and Reagan right now is turning over in his fucking grave. There's not a lot of things I agree with that son of a bitch about either, but still, he didn't back down from fucking communism. So instead of Gorbachev, tear down this wall, it's Gorbachev. Spank me harder, Daddy.
You all just fail to understand how negotiations work. Everybody must lose out on something here.
So what are you losing out on this deal? See, I've lost, the money, which is kind of, it's 0.02% of my GDP, but neither here nor there. So I lost that. They've lost territory. I'm potentially losing my strategic positions in Europe. And Europe and NATO are really losing their trust in me. So I would really like to know what you're losing in this deal, aside from the troops that you've just led to the slaughter.
I'll get back to you on that.
Wait. Like, I understand a lot of people are for peace, but are you telling me this means I'm not gonna get to go toe-to-toe with a Su-57?
Nah, I can't afraid so. I mean, at least we got hopes that we can go fuck with West Taiwan, but shit. I'm surprised there's somebody who published a book called The Art of the Deal. Step 1, turn over on your allies. Fuck.